Students must count to 100 by ones and tens.
Create engaging audio recordings of stories or poems that demonstrate fluid reading at an understandable pace.
Write opinion pieces in which they introduce the topic or name the book they are writing about, state an opinion, and provide some sense of closure.
Determine a theme or central idea of a text and how it is conveyed through particular details.
Common Core standards are a nationalized way of attempting to measure a student's knowledge through the use of computerized testing. Instead of measuring a student's progress, however, these new Common Core standards are still pushing students. The standards for elementary school children especially are beyond their developmental capabilities.
I'm beginning to wonder, when they compare with these other nations, are they just looking at maybe a private school, or, not all educations are public in other nations. As we had mentioned, in England, for example, you have to pay money to go to school. So are they getting a real sample of their whole population? Because here in America, our public education includes everyone. Everyone, whether you're poor or disabled, or no matter what your family life is like, you are a part of our classroom, and therefore you're going to be a part of our testing. And to me, I'm wondering, so then, is India and China, these countries, are they really getting a comparable, something that we can compare truly and get an accurate example of where we stand in the world? But having said that, okay, so we have Common Core. The nation wants us to have Common Core. And I look at them, and we're all aware that they're higher than where we're at right now. So then now I consider the question of developmental. If they're developmentally sound for where children are at. And I know a wise teacher once told me that when you have a 5-year-old, and if they turn 5 on their birthday, you would never go to them and pull out their 2 front teeth and their 2 bottom teeth and say, okay, you're 5, so now your teeth come out. No, because children lose their teeth at different stages and through their life. They're developmentally, physically changing, which is appropriate for what you would do for them, for example, pulling out their teeth. So I look at that, and I've always, a wise teacher gave me that example, and so when I look at children, I began to truly understand they develop at different ages. So when you have a core standard, or this national standard, it's so, seems so definitely defined, and that's not, children are not that way. So it may not be appropriate to give all students the same standard when they have not developed to that place yet. So I have a concern about that.
These assessments will be largely computer-based and online. And of course, the issue of our teachers, are we supporting our teachers necessary to teach to this college and career-ready standard? So so it's not just that the students will be taking assessments online in 2014 and 15 or computer-based, but it's getting our students ready for the assessments they're going to take and the content that they're going to be tested on.
According to K-12 Innovation, there is no consistent evidence that a national curriculum leads to high academic achievement. The Common Core standards assume that what kids need to know is covered by one or another of the traditional core subjects. In fact, the unexplored intellectual terrain lying between and those beyond familiar fields of study is vast, expands by the hour, and will go in directions no one can predict.
Implementing a nationalized standard is not a new way to make a more futuristic education. This would actually halt any sort of creativity or innovation in education.
Core standards are much too tough on the kids. They're not even considering the child at their stage. I help teaching in kindergarten, and the children cannot even hold a pencil right. They cannot grip. They don't have the strength to even put a letter on the paper. You tell them to go left to form the A, and they'll go right, and you tell them that 20 times and they'll still go right, just because it makes absolutely no sense to them. They don't know what you're really asking them to do. So they're much too young to even grasp what you're asking them to do. Common Core standards to me and standardized testing is pointless because the kids are shoved down so much information that makes absolutely no sense to them. They cannot apply what they've learned, and so there's no point to it. And I see that in the kindergarten that I work now, the older children are doing much better because they're at the developmental stage where they can grasp and understand what it is they're supposed to be doing, what's being asked of them.
We should not be so focused on standards and meeting a certain mark. The purpose of education is to expand your knowledge and to teach you how to learn.
We're going to focus on equality. Well, I know, it's crazy in a democracy. And it's not equality of results because they didn't even do tests. They don't do any testing until the age of 16, okay? So no standardized testing, et cetera. Equality of opportunity. So they said no matter if you're poor or rich or you're in the middle, our objective is to reach equality of opportunity. And by the way, and this is amazing and it would make Republican heads explode here in the US, we are not going to achieve, we're not going to try for excellence. Already, like in America, that's like, what? They're like, no, we just want everybody to have a fair chance.
We should look forward and find the right alternatives to teach children. Perhaps learning from a country like Finland can help our education system.
He's explaining to the Americans, we don't do competition. Mm-hmm. The Americans are like, all right, so anyway, how do you compete? They're like, no, we do cooperation. Like, okay, anyway, so what are your private schools up to? They're like, we don't have private schools. He's like, okay, so anyway, what are your private schools doing? Okay, no, but we don't have private schools. Like, he's explaining the system, and it's not fitting into their head. Like, the Americans are like, I don't. So anyway, the bottom line is, what? More competition.